Hello, everyone. Most women think they know what men notice about them. They assume it's the obvious things: appearance, clothing, maybe even confidence. But here's the truth. What truly stands out isn't what they expect. Men are silent observers. They don't always express what they notice, but they take in far more than they reveal. And the most intriguing part, the things that stay with them are often the things women don't even realize they're showing. Women have long been taught to present themselves in ways that draw attention to their strengths, their beauty, and their confidence. They carefully choose outfits, practice their smiles, and adjust their body language to project an image they believe is appealing. But what they often don't realize is that men notice far more than the things they intentionally put on display. It's not just about how they look or the words they say. It's about the subtle, unspoken details that they don't even realize they're revealing. A woman might spend hours picking out the perfect dress for an event, believing that it's the key to making a lasting impression. But what truly lingers in a man's mind is something much deeper. It's the way she carries herself when she thinks no one is watching. It's the fleeting expression on her face when she hears a certain name. It's the way her voice slightly shifts when she's unsure, or the way her hands fidget when she's nervous. These are the moments that expose something real, something unfiltered, something far more revealing than anything she consciously presents. Men are silent observers. They may not always comment on what they notice, but they take it all in. They see the way a woman interacts with the world around her. When she walks into a room, does she take up space with confidence, or does she shrink slightly, unsure of her presence? When she laughs, is it genuine, or does it feel like a response designed to fit in? The details that go unnoticed by her are often the very things that define how she's perceived. One of the most telling signs is how she reacts in small, seemingly insignificant moments. She may be fully composed when speaking to someone she admires, but how does she treat the barista at a coffee shop? How does her expression shift when she's deep in thought and doesn't think anyone is looking? These small, unguarded moments often reveal the truth of a person's character. And men notice. Many women assume that men only see what is obvious: their physical appearance, their charm, their ability to carry a conversation. But the reality is that men pick up on the things that women don't consciously express. A woman may think she is portraying confidence, but a man can see the small hesitations that hint at self-doubt. She may believe she is coming across as warm and approachable, but if her energy carries even the slightest bit of reservation, it does not go unnoticed. There is a reason why some people leave a lasting impact even after they have walked away. It's not just about what they said or did, it's about the energy they left behind. Some women radiate a quiet strength, an unshakable sense of self-assurance that does not need to be spoken aloud. Others may carry an invisible weight of insecurity, and though they try to mask it with a bright smile or practiced words, their presence tells a different story. What's most interesting is that the things women don't realize they're showing often matter more than the things they focus on. A woman might assume that her attractiveness comes from the way she styles her hair or the way she applies her makeup, but a man is far more likely to remember the way her eyes lit up when she talked about something she was passionate about. But he's more likely to notice the way she stood a little taller when she felt truly comfortable in a space, or the way she instinctively reached out to help someone in need without hesitation. Attraction, admiration, and respect are built on these unspoken details. They are formed in the moments where a woman isn't performing, but simply being. A confident presence is not something that can be faked. It is something that is felt. And men, even when they do not articulate it, recognize it immediately. This is why it's so important for women to shift their focus away from what they believe they should be noticed for and instead become more aware of what they are unconsciously revealing. It's not about looking a certain way or saying the right words. It's about living in a way that aligns with their true essence. When a woman is at peace with herself, when she's grounded in who she truly is, she does not need to try to be noticed. The unspoken details will speak for themselves. Men are often perceived as less observant, as if they only focus on the surface of things, noticing only what is obvious. But the truth is, men are silent observers. They may not always express what they see, but they take in far more than they let on. Their minds are constantly registering details, drawing conclusions, and remembering things that were never spoken aloud. They see the way a person carries themselves, the shifts in their energy, and the subtle nuances of their behavior. Unasked promptly, they notice without announcing it. A woman may think she's only being seen when she's actively engaging in conversation, but a man has already observed her before she even speaks. He's noticed the way she walked into the room, the way her eyes scanned the space, the way she adjusted her posture before sitting down. He's taken note of the way she interacts with others, how she listens, and the moments when she drifts off into thought. These are the things that tell him far more about her than the words she eventually says. Men do not always respond in the moment, nor do they always verbalize what they observe. But that doesn't mean they aren't paying attention. They see the patterns. They recognize the small inconsistencies between words and actions. They notice when someone's confidence is real versus when it's a practiced performance. They can feel when someone is being authentic and when they're only saying what they think they should say. The truth is, silence doesn't mean oblivion. It means analysis. One of the most overlooked things that men notice is how people behave in their unguarded moments. A woman may be focused on impressing someone when she's directly interacting with them, but what about when she thinks no one is watching? Does her expression shift when she turns away? Does her body language change when she's alone? The way she treats people in the background, service, strangers, or even those she perceives as insignificant, speaks volumes. And men take note of this, even if they never mention it. A man may not always comment on how a woman carries herself, but he notices when she enters a room with quiet confidence. He notices when she moves with purpose rather than hesitation, when she stands tall rather than shrinking into the background. He may not say anything about it, but it stays with him. In the same way, he also notices when someone's energy is filled with self-doubt, when nervousness lingers beneath their smile, or when their laughter is forced. These details register on a level that is hard to explain, but they influence perception in ways that words never could. What makes silent observation so powerful is that it is not filtered through conversation or expectation. It is raw and unspoken. A woman might assume that what matters most is what she says to a man, but more often than not, it's what she does when she's not trying to impress him that tells him the most. He notices the way she reacts when something unexpected happens. He sees whether she's genuinely kind or only putting on a front. He observes how she handles stress, how she treats the people around her, and whether her presence brings comfort or unease. The reason men don't always verbalize what they see is not because they are indifferent, it's because they are processing. They are weighing what they observe against what they hear. They are drawing conclusions based on real-time evidence rather than just words. They know that what is unspoken often carries more truth than what is said. And this is why many men wait before forming strong opinions about someone. They are silently collecting data, noticing patterns, and making sense of what's beneath the surface. Women often assume that if a man doesn't comment on something, he hasn't noticed it. But this couldn't be further from the truth. He may not mention how she brushed her hair behind her ear when she was deep in thought, but he saw it. He may not bring up how her tone changed when she spoke about something that truly mattered to her, but he caught it. He may not say anything about how her energy shifted when she felt uncomfortable, but he felt it. These details, though unspoken, leave an impression. It is often said that actions speak louder than words, but what's even more powerful is what happens in between those actions. The moments when people are simply being themselves, unaware that anyone is paying attention. That is when true character is revealed, and men, in their silence, are always watching. Attraction often begins with what is seen, a glance across the room, a well-put-together appearance, or a confident stride may capture initial attention. But what truly holds that attention isn't what's obvious. It's the smallest unexpected details that linger in the mind long after the moment has passed. While beauty may draw the eye, it is the subtleties, the unspoken traits, and the unconscious actions that create a lasting impression. A woman may believe that her appearance is what defines how she is perceived, but what truly captivates someone is far deeper than the surface. It's in the way she reacts when she's caught off guard, the way her expression softens when she speaks about something she loves, the way her body language changes when she's comfortable versus when she's guarded. These are the things that register on an almost subconscious level. They can't be faked and they can't be planned. They just exist, and they reveal more than any carefully chosen outfit or perfectly styled hair ever could. There is something fascinating about authenticity. A well-rehearsed presentation can be admired, but a genuine, unguarded moment is what sticks. The way someone's face lights up when they laugh without thinking, the slight tilt of their head when they're truly listening, or the way they absent-mindedly adjust their sleeves when they're deep in thought. These are the things that create a sense of connection. They are not grand gestures, they are not designed to impress, yet they speak louder than anything that is. Men notice these details more than they admit. They may not always articulate it, but they see when someone's confidence is effortless rather than forced. They pick up on the way someone enters a room, whether they command presence through authenticity or through effort. They observe the way a person treats those around them, not just in moments of importance, but in the quiet interactions that seem insignificant. It is in these small, seemingly inconsequential moments that true character is revealed. It's not just about how someone looks when they know they're being watched. It's about the energy they carry when they don't realize anyone is paying attention. Does their smile fade the second they turn away? Does their posture shift when they are no longer on display? Do they treat people the same way when no one is there to validate them? These are the details that speak louder than appearances ever could. Does the energy they know when no one has to validate them? Beyond looks, there is something deeply magnetic about passion. When someone speaks about something they love, there is a shift, a spark that is impossible to ignore. It is not about how eloquently they express themselves or how much they know about the topic. It's about the excitement in their voice, the light in their eyes, the subtle gestures that show they are fully engaged. Passion is contagious, and it is one of the most attractive traits a person can have. Equally captivating is how someone carries themselves in moments of silence. In between words and interactions, there is a quiet presence that tells its own story. Confidence is not in how loudly someone speaks or how boldly they assert themselves. It is in how comfortable they are in their own skin, how at ease they are in their own thoughts. A person who can sit in silence without needing to fill the space radiates a different kind of strength, one that is felt rather than seen. What truly captures attention is not perfection. It is not the most flawless appearance or the most carefully curated persona. It is the small, unfiltered moments that feel real. It is the sincerity in a compliment, the genuine excitement over simple joys, the kindness that is given without expectation. It is in the way someone makes others feel when they are around them. Looks may initiate attraction, but they do not sustain it. The smallest details, the way someone listens, the way they react, the energy they bring into a space, are what linger long after they have left. These are the things that cannot be imitated, and they are the things that matter most. Long before a woman says a single word, her presence has already spoken volumes. The way she enters a room, the energy she carries, and the unspoken cues in her demeanor all create an invisible yet undeniable impression. Men may not always articulate what they pick up on, but they feel it instantly. It's not just about appearance, posture, or even confidence. It's something deeper, something unspoken. Got it. A presence can be commanding without being loud, graceful without being forced, and magnetic without any effort at all. Men notice when a woman carries herself with a quiet strength. They feel the difference between someone who walks into a room looking for validation and someone who walks in already knowing her own worth. Confidence isn't about being the loudest or the most attention-seeking. It's about a deep sense of self-awareness, an unshakable foundation that doesn't rely on external approval. This kind of energy is felt before a word is spoken. It lingers, it influences, and it leaves an impression that lasts far beyond the moment. There's a rhythm to presence. A woman who is at peace with herself moves differently. There's no hesitancy in her step, no nervous energy in her movements. She doesn't shrink into the background, nor does she demand attention. She simply exists in a way that draws it naturally. Men instinctively pick up on this, sensing when someone is fully comfortable in their own skin versus when they are wearing a mask. The most captivating presence isn't the one trying to be seen, it's the one that carries an effortless sense of being. Energy is also revealed in how a woman responds to the world around her. A man may not consciously think about it, but he registers the small details. The way her face lights up when she's engaged in a conversation, the way she listens, the way she reacts when something unexpected happens. These things speak volumes about who she is beyond what she presents. A woman's energy is felt in the way she treats people, in the warmth, or lack thereof, she extends to those around her, and in the way she makes others feel in her presence. A woman's presence isn't just about confidence or composure, it's also about emotional energy. Men pick up on when someone carries lightness versus when they carry heaviness. It's not just about being happy or sad. It's about the underlying current of energy that exists beneath the surface. Some people enter a room and immediately bring a sense of calm, while others bring tension without even saying a word. This energy is felt before anything is spoken, and it shapes how people respond to someone, even if they don't fully understand why. There is also something deeply magnetic about authenticity. A woman who is unapologetically herself radiates a presence that is hard to ignore. There's an ease in her demeanor, a comfort in the way she moves through the world. She does not adjust her personality to fit in, nor does she shrink herself to avoid standing out. She exists as she is, fully present, fully real. Men notice this, even if they don't always put it into words. Authenticity is rare, and when someone embodies it, it has a way of leaving an impression that lasts. Beyond just being noticed, a woman's energy determines the way people feel around her. The way she carries herself can either draw people in or push them away. A person's presence is either inviting or distant, warm or guarded. It's not something that can be faked, nor is it something that can be forced. It's a reflection of what's going on internally. If a woman moves through life with grace, resilience, and a strong sense of self, that energy extends outward. If she carries insecurity, bitterness, or emotional turmoil, that energy extends outward as well. A man may not always be able to explain why he is drawn to one person and not another, but it almost always comes down to energy. It's never just about looks or words. It's about presence, the way someone makes others feel, the unspoken confidence they carry, and the authenticity they bring to every space they enter. Before a woman even speaks, she has already said everything through the energy she carries. People often believe they are defined by their words, their choices, or the image they present to the world. But in reality, the truth is found in patterns, the small, seemingly insignificant habits and subconscious movements that emerge without thought or intention. These patterns tell a deeper story, revealing more than what is openly shared. Men notice these things, often without realizing it themselves, but the impression they leave is undeniable. A woman may believe she is only seen for what she chooses to show, but in reality, the things she does without thinking speak louder than anything she could consciously control. A person's habits are windows into their inner world. The way someone interacts with strangers, how they respond when things don't go their way, or even the subtle way their face changes when they hear a certain name. These are all indicators of what lies beneath the surface. It's not the grand gestures that define a person's character, but the small, consistent behaviors that play out over time. Does that resonate? The way she speaks about others when they are not around, the tone of her voice when she is frustrated, the way she treats people who can do nothing for her, these things reveal more than words ever could. Subconscious movements tell a story that words often try to hide. A woman may say she is confident, but does she avoid eye contact when she speaks? She may claim to be comfortable in her own skin, but does she fidget with her clothes or touch her hair nervously in conversation? A man might not consciously register these behaviors, but he notices them. He feels them. Body language, no matter how subtle, conveys emotions that words cannot override. If there is tension in her movements, if there is hesitation in her actions, it reveals an inner uncertainty that cannot be masked by words alone. The smallest routines can also be the most telling. How a woman holds her coffee cup, the way she sits when she's deep in thought, the little things she does when she's nervous. All of these patterns create an unspoken language. Men may not analyze these behaviors in real time, but they recognize them on a deeper level. They notice when she always checks her phone at a certain moment, when she bites her lip before answering a difficult question, when she unconsciously mirrors their body language in conversation. These little things may seem trivial, but they build a picture over time. Even the way a woman reacts to silence is revealing. Some people are comfortable in the absence of noise, while others feel the need to fill every empty space with words or distractions. A man notices if a woman can sit in silence without discomfort, if she can enjoy a moment without constantly reaching for her phone or shifting in her seat. It shows a level of inner peace, a kind of self-assurance that cannot be faked. The ability to exist without needing constant validation is rare, and it is something that stands out even in the most unspoken ways. There is also something deeply revealing about consistency. Anyone can present themselves a certain way in a single moment, but over time, patterns emerge. A woman may project kindness, but is she kind when no one is watching? She may seem patient, but does she lose her temper in small moments of inconvenience? These behaviors, repeated over time, paint an accurate picture of who someone truly is. It's not about perfection, it's about authenticity. Men don't just notice how a woman acts when she's at her best. They see the moments in between, the ones she doesn't even realize are being observed. Reactions are another silent truth teller. When faced with a challenge, does she panic or adapt? When given an unexpected compliment, does she accept it with confidence or deflect it with discomfort? When someone disagrees with her, does she listen or immediately become defensive? These small moments of response reveal far more than a rehearsed answer ever could. They show a person's true nature, their level of self-awareness, and how they navigate the world around them. Attraction is often assumed to be based on appearance or personality, but it is really shaped by patterns. The things a woman does without thinking, the little habits she doesn't even recognize in herself. These are what men notice, even if they can't always explain why. It's in the way she carries herself when no one is looking, in the consistency of her actions over time, in the subtle ways her body language aligns with her emotions. Patterns reveal truth, and in the end, it is not what someone says that defines them, but what they do without realizing it. Attraction's often assumed to be something grand, something obvious, loud, and unmistakable. People think it's about a perfect smile, a carefully chosen outfit, or a confident walk into a room. But the truth is, what captivates men isn't always what a woman intends to be noticed for. It's not just about looks, words, or even charm. But the things that draw attention in the deepest way are often hidden in the quietest moments, the ones that slip by unnoticed, the ones that aren't performed but simply exist. A man may not always be able to explain why he finds a particular woman unforgettable, but it's often because of something subtle, something she wasn't even aware she was doing. It could be the way she instinctively tilts her head when she's listening intently, the way her eyes light up when she talks about something she's passionate about, or even the way she momentarily forgets herself and laughs. These moments are raw, unfiltered, and real. They are not practiced or rehearsed, and that's exactly why they stand out. Men notice the way attraction isn't just about what's seen on the surface. It's about the moments in between, the unspoken, the effortless, the subconscious. It's in the quiet confidence of a woman who isn't seeking validation, in the way she reacts to life when no one is watching, in the habits she doesn't even realize she has. Men may not always verbalize what captivates them, but they notice more than they let on. It's not just beauty or charm that holds attention, it's authenticity, presence, and the energy she carries. In the end, true attraction isn't about trying to be noticed. It's about simply being, The moments a woman overlooks are often the ones that leave the deepest impression. And perhaps that's the greatest secret of all. The most captivating things are never forced, they just are. Thank you for listening, and may you always embrace the power of your most natural self.